3 represented an idea? Why does this number appear at the Pesach Seder, but many times in life as well, right? Most of things that we use have to have at least 3 legs. You know what I'm saying? 3 legs keeps us things standing. What is it with the number 3? What does the number 3 represent? Okay, so it goes like this. Let's go a little bit deeper. I'll share with you an amazing idea. I heard this many, many years ago from my Rabbanim. And it's sourced in a number of places, and it goes like this. Everything you try to achieve in life follows a 3-phase pattern. Okay? There's something called the yachol, the potential that comes with something. There's the poel, there's the action in order to activate what you planned. And then there is the, I guess you call it the shleimut, right? The completion of that activity. If you depict the number 3 in Judaism as 3 circles or 3 dots, how would you depict it? I think we've done this before here, once before. How would you, with your finger up in the air right now, what would you do? If you wanted to depict 3 dots, how would you depict 3 dots? 1, 2, 3, like traffic lights. You can go 1, 2, 3 horizontally. Actually, it's 1, 2, 3. It always goes mushalash like that. Always represents, that's always point out that the Magen David is 3 like this and 3 transversed on it. Ends up becoming 6. So 3 always represents that which the bare minimum in order to get and activate action. You have an idea. That's what we call phase 1. That's the yachol. It's all in your mind. You haven't activated it yet. Now you have to activate. You have to do stuff. What's called bapoel. The activating the yachol or the koach. The koach is actually what it's called. The active and the bapoel is how you actualize that which you thought about doing. The third part is reaching the end. One of the challenges of being in this world is that the move from phase 1 to phase 2 and then to phase 3 is always like a funnel. It's never as good as you thought it would be. Nothing in this world is ever as good as it has to be, as you hoped it would be. When you dream of vacation, and then you go on the vacation, you've got to pack and book and schlep. It's hard work. The idea of it, the koach in your mind, right, the whole potential of it is always amazing. Trying to activate it, you can't, like you can close your eyes and imagine a lot of things, but in this world, and all of us are trying to create that thing is extremely difficult. It's always like a funnel. The end result is never as good as you thought it would be, but it's great because you achieved it. Okay, with that in mind, let's just move a little bit further, then we'll take some questions. The secret to all of life follows this pattern, which is, first of all, you're given a gift. You're given a gift. Then the gift is taken away. Then you've got to do it yourself. That's phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Let me explain. Phase 1 is the gift. Let's look at the Jewish people in Egypt. It's the perfect example, the perfect paradigm. Listen carefully, this is amazing. Phase 1 is we're in Egypt, which was difficult. Okay? And then we were taken out. So the beginning of the Jewish people was we were taken out. Did we do anything to get out? Did we have to fight our way out? No. Hashem brought the plagues. The Egyptians were in complete trouble. We had Machat Bechorot, and that was it. And we just walked out. What would Hashem do? What would the obvious extension of that? We'd land right away in the land of Israel. That would be the obvious extension of that experience. What a great follow-up. You leave Egypt, right? Okay, fine. One day later, you're at Har Sinai, and then one day later, Hashem will contract the world, contract the earth, which is able to do. The Gemara Daf Yomi, which we're doing right now, is talking about various people who are able to contract the earth and cover vast distances in a short amount of time. There are 3 such people, interestingly enough, in Jewish history who did that we know about. Maybe there's more people we don't know about. And he goes straight from Egypt to Har Sinai and straight to Eretz Yisrael. That would be so amazing. But it's not what happened. We get dumped in a desert for at least a few weeks. That was plan A. And then we mess up and we end up there for 40 years, which becomes plan B. So follow the pattern. First of all, Hashem gives you a gift. That's phase 1. Then the gift is taken away and you're dumped in the desert. Desert in the Torah always represents a place of physical challenge and difficulty. Right? It's not a seeded place. There's nowhere to live. It's a hard reality. Mountains always represent instruction, Torah, right? It always comes from a mountain. But deserts represent spiritual death. So we're dumped into a desert. Hashem pulls the carpet on us. And we're like, what's this? We just got out all these amazing miracles. And what do we say? We're like, please, take us to Israel. And Hashem's like, but you didn't do anything. I need you to do something about it. Now you do it. Now it's your turn. Let me see what you can do. I gave you the free gift, and then the free gift is taken away. It's always that way. Every single accomplishment a person goes through, they get a free piece of inspiration. They do nothing for it. They may think it's them, but it's not. That thing gets taken away, then they have to achieve it themselves. What they end up with is a much smaller version of what they thought it would be, but it's greater because they achieved it themselves. It's like when you go to the wine store, right? And you walk in, I have a wine store right next to me, and they're always like doing wine tastings. So you walk over to the table, I'm like, okay. I walked here on purpose, I don't drive, it's only a street away. So I go, you go, sure, you got to try this one. I take some, make a bracha, I drink the wine. Oh, try this one. I'm like, can I have more of that one? He goes, of course you can, try a bit more. Can I have more of it? He's like, no, now you got to buy the bottle. At some point, you got to buy the bottle. You can't just sit there or walk in and try. I know people try at Costco, right? They'll take a little cookie, they'll walk around the block, try again. They bring the entire mishpacha. At some point, you've got to buy the bottle. But what about the taste? That was just a taste of what can be. But you didn't do anything to deserve it. You didn't achieve it. It's given to you. It's taken away. Now you do it. That's the secret to all of life, the universe, and everything. In the words of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Right? Sorry to show you my nerdiness, but that's really what it is. By the way, if this is true, and it is, and I'll prove it to you beautifully in a couple of ways, all of our senses that we have really speak of this. Right? We have how many senses? 5 senses, right? Well, when I was in school, there were 5. Now there's 30, but we used to have 5 senses. Think about all the senses that you have. I think it's the Maharal that discusses this. Sense of taste. The first bite of steak, of matzah, of sandwich, delicious. Bite 2, that's also good. Bite 5 of the pizza, bite 15, I can't do it anymore. It just loses it. It's the first bite of the, that's where it comes in. That's where you feel it. And then your taste bud gets used to it and it goes away. Why is that? Because everything in this world starts with inspiration and then fades away. That's just the nature of Olam Hazeh. Not Olam Haba, but Olam Hazeh. Sound. You hear those annoying car alarms, right? And you walk along, and then after a while you don't notice them anymore because it becomes white noise. When do you notice them again? When they turn off. That's when you notice them again. It's like there, and then your auditory system kind of gets used to it. It kind of disappears. It's like people live in Manhattan. They'll tell you, we just get used to the noise. People come to visit, it drives you crazy. And when people in Manhattan go to the country, they're like, it's too quiet, I can't bear it. I need the noise. Many of them sleep, like one of my daughters with like a noise-making machine next to their ear, because that's what they're used to. The sense of smell, same thing, right? At first you smell it, it's amazing. Or maybe the first time you smell it, it's terrible. But then you get used to it. You walk into the zoo, you're like, oh my goodness, woof! You can't bear it. And the longer you're there, you just don't notice it anymore. You get used to it. That's the way the sense of smell works. So we have, and seeing things. Right? You look at the beautiful, sunrise or sunset, and after 3 minutes you're like, all right, it's time to go home. Why? Why does the first moment so beautiful after that? It's just like, okay, fine. Why do we have that? You just get used to it. That's being taken away. That's just the system of this world. I'll go even deeper. It's from one of my Rabbanim many years ago, but this is profound. And I've seen this inside actually some of the deeper Sfarim. Phase 1 is called male. That doesn't mean it's all men, because not all men have the attribute of maleness, but phase 1 is called Zachar, and phase 2 is called Nekeva. That's phase 2. How does that work? So think about production of life. What do we have? What is phase 1? The male brings forward millions of options, right? Millions of options come through. That's just so man, right? Go on vacation with a man. It's like, I could do anything. I could go water skiing, I could go hiking, I could do this, that. What is he up doing? Nothing. Just too many options. One of the challenges going on vacation with a man or someone with a male personality. Right? So many options. I just don't know which one to grab. That's phase 1. Phase 2, and you see even the production of all life, is the female, the nekeva, takes one from millions of options. All it takes. Right, doctor? Just double checking. Millions of options, and you take one, and that creates life. And you take that one, and you sit with it month after month after month, and that creates life. Okay? You couldn't see a clearer example of phase 1 and phase 2 without this. It's just perfect. It's absolute potential, but that's all it is. Then absolute production by taking just one. You can't take them all. You can't activate every single dream and desire. It's impossible to have that. So that's phase 2. Phase 2 is the hard work of sitting with it and creating that life. And phase 3 creates life, right? That difficult process of going from phase 2 to phase 3. But it's the hard work. All this fits in very nicely with the Pesach because you have your 3 avot. Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Let's just think about those 3 for a second. Abraham is phase 1. He's Mr. Idea. What's his idea? I'm going to create life, a whole new religion, ethical monotheism. That's what he spent his entire life doing. It's all ideas based. Everything you need to know. He is the thesis, the idea behind the idea that generated everything we are today as the Jewish people. But he had a Yishmael. If you just have that, you have nothing. Yishmael is a product of that. All idea-based and no mamashut, no actuality, not actualizing that which you believe in. What's phase 2? Yitzchak. What's Yitzchak? Hard work. Hard work. Actually, the name Yitzchak is actually 2 words stuck together. Ketz, chai, death in life. It represents hard work, challenge, difficulty. But you can't just have that. Because if you just have that, you're going to create Esav. Esav. You get a Yaakov, but you get an Esav as well. You can't just have that. So that's the antithesis. So Avraham and Yitzchak were antithesis. That's fine. They were father and son. Who said they should be the same? And they shouldn't be the same. So phase 1 is Avraham. Then you have Yitzchak. So what's Yaakov? Yaakov is the synthesis. You have thesis, antithesis, and he synthesizes his grandfather and his father. He becomes Yisrael. He becomes the Jewish people. The rabbis say he's Mitaus Shalem. He's perfect. He was able to grab what he needed from his father and from his grandfather, pull them together. He had the Chesed, he had the Gevurah, and he created Tiferet, which is the synthesis of those 2 ideas, those 2 approaches. It all comes together to create that kind of pyramid, that idea. That's the secret to it. By the way, as a side point, what prayer did Avraham Avinu establish? Not as we know it today, because he didn't have a prayer book, but the idea of Shacharit comes from Avraham Avinu. Right? That's the sun comes up, it's all bright outside, everything's great. You haven't done anything, you just woke up. But it's all in potential because the day's begun. Right? The sun, the dawn is with us. So what are you going to do with it? Yitzchak is mincha. Yitzchak represents mincha, which is extremely hard work. Now the hard work is a gift, which is why the word mincha means a gift. But it's hard work, it's ketzchai, it's Yitzchak. Then you get to the synthesis, which is Yaakov in nighttime. Nighttime also is a challenge, but now it has the day, and now you're able to look back at your life and at least get some pattern for the future. That, my friends, is how the number 1, 2, 3, the 3 phases of creation, so anything you try to achieve is always going to follow that 3-phase pattern. And that obviously fits into Pesach. Because we said Pesach, what did Hashem do? When the Jewish people left Mitzrayim, He just took us out. He threw us into a desert and say, now you do it. Now you do it. Show me what you got. They couldn't handle it. It was too much for them. They said, let us go back inside. The food was better over there. We were better inside Mitzrayim. Do you know how many times they rebelled? Because the hard work of phase 2, which is, it's tough. It's like the first day of medical school, right? Compared to a year or 2 years in. Every single medical student ever, without a shadow of a doubt. If not, they're completely cuckoo. At some point says, I cannot do this. It's too much. I can't handle it. Parenting, he got the birth. Oh, he got through that. And then at some point, this is just too difficult, It's always that way. Any project you begin is always going to follow that. You want to run a marathon. You start the marathon, you feel great. By mile 15, right, or 20, they hit what's called the wall. You're like, I can't do anymore. You got to break through. You get to the end, you're a shambles of where you were at the beginning, but at least you did it. You achieved that yourself. Even teaching a child how to walk, same thing, right? How does a parent teach a child how to walk? You ever see that experience? First, baby's crawling around. Then he gets to kind of stand up and holds onto a table or something. You see babies, it's very, very cute. And then they start to walk, right? They have like 1 foot and 2 foot and 3 foot. And what do the parents do? The mother or the father will grab their hands. And the baby's holding on like this. And it's like, dee, 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 dee. Right? So cute. You take videos and photos. What do the parents do? What must the parents do in order to make this a productive effort? They must let go. Gotta let go. What does the baby do? Pulls down and starts crying. Now put yourself into the parent's mind and put yourself into the baby's mind. The baby's like, I don't get it. I've been crawling around for weeks or months. I finally get up and I finally start walking. And then you ruined it. You ruined it. It was going so well. What does the parent say? No. You weren't walking. You thought you were walking. You didn't walk a single step. I was walking. Yeah, but I fell down. Yeah, now you're walking. Now, that's walking. Falling down is the process for learning how to walk. You have to fall down. That's just the way it works. You've got to break the vessel in order to rebuild it. And it's going to have cracks in it, and it's going to be besmirched and dirty and broken and chipped. I get it. But that's just the way this world works. Jewish history follows 3 phases. Did you know that? All of Jewish history, which for now we're going to represent as 6,000 years, which also just a few days ago was in the Daf Yomi, the world exists for 6,000 years as a maximum. The rabbi's like, yeah, that's true. But those 6,000 years divide up to 3 groups of 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. Alpayim Shana. What's the first 2,000? They're called Tova Vohu. That's a borrowed term from creation of the world before there was anything. It means a complete mess. Right? Like my kid's bedroom on Friday afternoon. Complete balagan. There's no order, there's no seder. That's the first 2,000 years. What's the second 2,000 years? Who begins the second 2,000 years? Who's the character that we say, that's when the 2,000 middle years get going? I'll give you a clue. He was born in the Jewish year 1948, not the secular year. Can't be coincidence though, but maybe it is. Avram Avinu. He starts the 2,000 middle years, and those are called the years of Torah, because the Torah was given during those 2,000 years, in the Jewish year 2448, right? About 1,000 years after Avram Avinu lived. So that's called the middle section. So the first section is a free gift. Hashem did it all. But it's disorderly. That's called Tova Vohu. That's called a complete balagan. Why? Because we didn't do anything. We didn't achieve anything by doing that. What's phase 2? Phase 2 is us working hard, and that's the 2,000 years the Torah was given in. So those two, we started Avram Avinu and culminated with the hyper. What's phase 3? They're called, the 2,000 final years are called Yomot HaMashiach. That's the last 2,000. That's where the whole thing comes together. That's when the trilogy finally pulls in and makes everything else okay before it, how it makes make sense. Okay? That's how you follow those 6,000 years of history. There's one other piece to this. Okay, I'll come back to me. Got it. Quicker than usual, Baruch Hashem. How many temples do we have? 2 so far, okay? First one, Shlomo HaMelech, he got up. His father, David, he put the things in the ground. He put the foundations in. He wasn't allowed to build it, but okay, no problem. Your son's going to do it. It's good enough. Shlomo comes along. He builds it. Miracles in there. It's fantastic. The most amazing, most amazing Beit HaMikdash. Gets destroyed by the Babylonians. Nebuchadnezzar destroys it. We have to wait. We have to work hard. The whole Purim story is the hard work that generates number 2. Since then, we've been in phase 2. Phase 3 is going to be the third and final Beit HaMikdash, which is going to far exceed everything that came before it. Because we've worked hard for thousands of years waiting and accumulating and building up for that final presence. And that is the third and final Beit HaMikdash. That's how it all comes together. And that's why in the Pesach Seder, and not anywhere else that I know of, we invite Eliyahu Navi to a Pesach Seder. Do we not? Right? Your fathers open the door, shvoch, chamatcha, put your chamatcha, your mother-in-law on the good. No, it's okay, joke. Throw your anger onto those people who are controlling us and hurting us. Yeah? Give them the trouble. And then we have a kos. We even have a big cup, a 5th cup, sitting at the table. Right? And we're like, going to drink it? No, not yet. Right? We're still waiting. Can't drink the 5th cup. 4 cups you can drink, but the last cup represents the concept of going back to Israel to build the third and final temple. So we're saying, Eliyahu Hanavi, we're waiting thousands of years. We're still celebrating the first redemption of the Jewish people, the first Geula, right? 3,339 years ago or so ago. Dayenu, it's enough already. So we're coaxing him in, and that's the perfect time to do it. We want to attach that Geula, that redemption, to the final redemption of Pesach B'ezrat Hashem, of Mashiach's arrival, and the building of the third and final Beit HaMikdash. Okay? That, my friends, is the secret of the number 15, which is the steps to get us to the next destination. It's the journey. And the number 3 that really represents the beginning and the middle and the end of that journey. That's how those numbers come together, as represented, we said, by the letter Yud and the letter Hey, Hashem's name, which is only half the name, which God willing will take us right to the end. Okay. Questions, thoughts, comments? All right. Come to the end. Thank you very, very much, everyone. Stick around for some dinner. And Rabbi Ruvain will be speaking shortly. You're welcome.